Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. Today's story is brought to you by Smiley Face Coffee, a coffee brand I created for the LG community. Give it a shot, the link is in the description below. Now let's get started with today's story. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user My Failing Marriage. Me, 30 male, suspects infidelity of my wife, 28 female, on top of a failing marriage. My wife, 28 female, and I, 30 male, have been married for almost 2 years and were together for 1.5 years before that, for a total of roughly over 3 years. We got married shortly after our son arrived a 1.5 years ago. Everything was great between us. I know and regret how rushed things went. Until my son arrived. My wife got hit postpartum hard and treated me terribly for about 7 months until I finally broke. She was passive-aggressive and demeaning and berated me for any and every little thing. Now, I believe I truly am a great and inexperienced at first father. I have done everything for my child and wife. However, since our child's birth, signs of her being bipolar are very evident. She was great again after getting prescribed Zoloft, and we got along great. She's had several incidences where she stopped taking it, got passive-aggressive and treated me terribly, and she's now unmedicated again. We work mostly opposite schedules and don't get as much time together as we should. She's very controlling and I need to consult her anytime I need to do something. I usually go to work and come right home. When she's working, I'm home alone with our son. She works nights, Fridays and Saturday nights, so she sleeps all weekend on the nights I'm off. She goes to the bar with co-workers every weekend after work, and I say nothing so she can have a breather and adult time. Now, we have a pretty humor-based relationship, and sometimes it's even at the other's expense, and we have been okay with that. Over the past 2 months, she has kept joking about her having a black slam piece. To be clear, I only mentioned race because that's what she says and because it's relevant later. That's fine, whatever. But she keeps on about it and it's way past the point of being funny. Anyway, on Tuesday night, she was very mad at her mother about something. I didn't come right home after work because I had to run an errand and went home about an hour later than usual. She took this opportunity to claim I came home in a bad mood and berated me. She picked up some overtime planned for that night, 7 p.m. to 12 p.m. In her anger, beyond our joking and in a serious note, she says, "I don't want to go to work. I just want to go out, get drunk and get me some. I'm tired of being a daughter, a mom, and a wife." That hurt a lot. Well, it got me thinking even more all the next day, and 2 days later, Thursday, she had more planned overtime from 7 p.m. to 12 a.m. Now, my sister-in-law is living with us because she is down on her luck and in remission from ovarian cancer. We get along great. My wife crawled into my sister-in-law's bed at 3:30 a.m. after her shift, smelling like alcohol, and said she went out drinking with Dwight. Dwight is a black security guard at her work. Her shift ended at 12, bars close at 2 a.m., and she has a 45-minute drive home. The timeline is even more sketchy. My sister-in-law told me about this after my wife left for work Friday night, because she felt like I should know. My wife and I would not have seen each other until Sunday night, tomorrow, due to work schedules. I couldn't handle wandering all weekend, so I went to talk to her at her work that night. I calmly confronted her about coming home late smelling of booze and that she never even told me. She admitted she went to the bar with Dwight and had 2 beers. I explained how wrong and sketchy it was to me, especially after her comments. 2 beers, is that what they're calling it now? She calmly denied cheating on me. I asked her again to swear on our son's life. This caught her off guard, and after 5 seconds, she did. She went on to tell me how she'd been unhappy for months with me and questioned divorce. She's checked out on being a mom and a wife. She doesn't do anything around the house but plays on her phone all day and ignores our son beyond the required stuff. We don't argue much, but she's usually on a hair trigger, snapping about everyone else for no reason. To make things worse, she texted me earlier that day saying she was 8 days late for her period. 2 pregnancy tests came up inconclusive. We've had sex one time in the past month. No birth control, no condom, pulled out, but I know, not foolproof. It makes me wonder if she is pregnant and it is even mine if so. So here I sit on the verge of divorce. I feel my trust is destroyed and I can't move past that. She'd flip her crap if I were with a woman alone drinking at night, and I wouldn't do it. Please help validate or argue my feelings of being wronged and doubting my wife. My trust is destroyed and we may have a baby coming that neither of us will handle well. I feel terrible, but termination crosses my mind. I feel divorce is coming soon because we both consider it. What should I do? Delete Facebook, hit the gym, lawyer up and see how things go with a potential new baby? I love the son we have and I know I'll get at least partial custody. We both have good jobs and no sketchy records to tie us up in court. Thanks so much in advance. Well, OP, all of the above except delete Facebook. I don't know, why would you do that? Just block her if you want to. But also, you may want to buy a congratulations card for Dwight, because I kind of think he's going to be a dad soon. All joking aside, OP, you are absolutely right. First thing is first, prenatal DNA test for the baby that she might have, and then lawyer up and get your ducks in a row. Take a look at your finances, see what you can separate. If you need to move some money around, go ahead and do that. Get the help of a lawyer to, start drawing up the papers, but yeah, it kind of sounds like this marriage is over. And also, considering your wife's mental state and her illness, if she is bipolar and the way she behaves and all, she might not be the best person to parent a kid, considering she ignores him most of the time. So maybe you should start getting some proof of that and you can fight for full custody. Based on everything you tell us, it sounds like you're the parent that actually cares and your son would be better taken care of just living with you. In summary, OP, I agree with you. You are being wrong and you are right in doubting your wife because it sounds sketchy at best. So start getting proof, get your ducks in a row, lawyer up, and move on with divorce. And what do you guys think about OP's situation? How would you handle this whole thing? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Old mate THC says, she's effing him, dude. The fact she had to take 5 seconds to prepare herself for lying when she had to swear on her son's life about it should be proof enough. And OP responds, I'm pretty sure too, thanks. Pelien says, I may be late in my comment, but I would like to add, you have gotten excellent advice here overall. The one thing you have not seemed to factor in yet is the gravity of being non-compliant with her meds. Without being on meds, plus postpartum, you are dealing with someone who is essentially legally impaired, if not insane. You can be sure your son is a neglected child. You can be sure she will never become compliant. A compliant person never goes on drinking binges, and non-compliant mental health patient, which is what she is, becomes hypersexual and begins to act out sexually. Do not hesitate to pull the trigger for the good of your son and for the good of your sanity. She is a crazy maker. And OP responds, definitely not too late. Thank you and I agree completely. I appreciate your encouragement and time. No, 1000 times no says, do you see her paycheck and can verify that she actually worked extra shifts? It's very common for cheaters to work extra shifts and even burn through vacation days to hook up. If she is pregnant, demand and get a DNA test, regardless of how the kid looks, because she may still be hooking up with someone else. And OP responds, I can get her to print off her time summary if she'd do it. I think it's pointless at this time. And a DNA test would for sure occur if an abortion didn't. Thanks. Additional information from OP's comments. We never really get alone time, but a few times a month. And yes, she's a stay-at-home mom Monday through Thursday and kid-free for 3 days. I'm only a stay-at-home dad 2 days a week. She gets to cut loose, but I am a bad guy if I go to the store after work. I give her all the time possible to be kid-free and take our son as soon as I get home, feed him, bathe them, and put him to sleep. She had the chance to change her schedule and I tried to for the good of us, but she declined. I essentially have our son 36 waking hours a week, essentially or fully alone. She spends 40 hours essentially or alone with him. We both suffer the same child burnout without much adult time. I brought up putting our son in childcare, but she is very lazy and never wants actually to do anything to improve her quality of life. She gets to go out but controls me. So I can't. I think it's all pretty effed from here, especially since she's being shady. If she weren't being shady and going out with some dude, I'd do everything I could to make it work. I fear it's too late now due to broken trust. I think I now see how messed up and dysfunctional it is, and that gave me the insight to write all of this. Thanks again for your insight, encouragement, kind words, and time. Alright, well, the community definitely gave OP a lot of input from different angles, and it sounds like OP is done with this thing and is going to move on with divorce. Which means it's time that we move on with the update to see what happens next. But before that, I'd like to recommend the Latin American Harvest collection from Smiley Face Coffee. 8 different varieties from Latin America that you might enjoy. Go ahead and check it out. The link is in the description and on the top corner on the screen right now. Now let's move on with that update. So first off, my wife denied all cheating and such on the Friday night I confronted her at work. We both worked all weekend and did not see each other because of it until Sunday night. We spoke a few times and things seemed okay. We were both off the Monday after, and she pulled me into our room away from my sister-in-law to admit she cheated. She's been cheating on me with a 47-year-old co-worker. He has a daughter who is only 4 years younger than my wife, and before anyone asks, she's not pregnant. She has since had her period and negative pregnancy tests. She isn't on birth control, so it's always possible she may end up pregnant from him or someone else, but for my son's sake, I hope not. She claimed this happened one time, and it was the night she was mad at her mom and took it out on me. She claims she did nothing sexual the night she came home late and crawled into bed with my sister-in-law. She's since seen him a few times. She's shown very little remorse both when she told me and the weeks prior. I consulted with 2 divorce lawyers within the few days after she told me, but did not disclose this fact immediately. We had a talk and mutually agreed on an uncontested divorce, something I was going to file for anyway. This is in the works, and we have come to terms on property, debt, childcare, etc. She'll get the house. She purchased it when we were still fresh into dating. It is hers, and we will share custody of our son. I'm also working on proving her as an unfit parent unless she willingly gives him up. I'm not trying to take his mom away, even if I feel he'd be better full-time with me and only visits from her. She gets no child support or spousal support. Debt is separate. We have opted to do split costs such as insurance premiums, medications, unpaid medical bills, tuition, extracurricular costs, and any other joint costs required. My son will not want for anything within reason and will be well looked after. I've said many times, he is my main priority in all of this and life. I love my son and he is my motivation. She still continues to try to get me to watch our son overnight so she can go work. She has been manipulative twice to be able to have someone with our son before I get home from work, so I have no choice. I finally snapped at her after being kind and stoic for 2 weeks. I told her how crappy, manipulative, selfish, and untruthful person she was all around, that I wouldn't do these things to her and I sure as crap won't be a doormat and let her do it to me. We still cohabitate, but I am packing my things and moving out in the next few weeks. I am going to my parents' house until I pay off the costs of the divorce and decide where I want to move, within range of my son. She still rarely shows remorse, but I am not shy to call her out on her crap. We don't interact much, and when she tries, I usually mostly ignore her. Sometimes she's playful and flirts with me. I don't buy into it. She's texted me a few times about how sometimes she wants to work things out, and other times she can't stand me. I am fully done with her crap, and she doesn't seem to comprehend that I am filing and done with her. There's no trust or respect for her, and truthfully, I hate her. Our son has to be pulled away from me crying when she wants to show him attention when I'm around. He even prefers my sister-in-law over my wife, usually, unless he wants to nurse. My wife still mostly ignores him and plays on her phone. In the meantime, I'm hitting the gym and trying to maintain my sanity. I do fine during the day, but the darker thoughts creep in at night. I do my best to stave it off, but it's hard when it prevents you from sleeping. I'm just riding the waves off it all until I reach better days. Depression is definitely present, but I am focusing on my 1.5-year-old son, as he is all that matters in this. I love him very much. Thanks to everyone for their time and that final push I needed to be strong and get my divorce going. Well, OP, I'm gonna call it a positive update on the fact that you're getting a divorce. And you're right, I think your son should be your priority. However, OP, your son needs a sane father. So don't forget yourself, don't neglect yourself. Get some therapy, get help for your depression. Your son needs you 100%. So yeah, it's good to focus on him, but don't forget about yourself or it's gonna impact the both of you. Regarding your wife, well, good riddance. Hope your divorce proceedings go on without any bumps. Take care, OP, and thank you for sharing. Now, let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user NoLobster177. Put in my 2 weeks notice, covert narcissist supervisor reveals herself. I, 30 female, have been working at a super small construction company for the past 2 years. I've put my best foot forward every day and never had any issues with anyone in the company. As of 3 months ago, they moved me from an infield coordinator to an accounting position. It was an emergency move as one of the employees stole $80,000 from the company and they needed an immediate replacement. My new supervisor, we'll call her Mary, 34 female, was always super kind to me and we've become pretty good in-work friends. Well, these past couple of months have been hell. I hate the new position and to be fair, I'm not very good at it. So I found a new position and I've been keeping it a secret for a while. I let the owner know first and he was very kind and receptive to it. The issue started when Mary got word of it. She immediately cornered me and started going on this rant, saying things like, "Why didn't you tell me? You're being incredibly unfair and selfish. I can't believe you would do this to us. This is unacceptable. Don't ask me for a referral because you are not getting one from me," etc. I politely told her that the opportunity was something I simply couldn't pass up. She then went to the owner and asked for any details I might have given to him about the new company and new position. I believe to try to sabotage me leaving, and thankfully I hadn't discussed any details about it with anyone. It was awkward after that, but I didn't think anything of it. The next day, things took a turn for the worse. Mary decided to be petty and removed all of my authorizations to any accounts I had, so I couldn't perform any of my daily tasks. I didn't want to leave on a sour note, so I brought it up to the owner. As Mary was out of the office that day, he reauthorized my accounts and I continued to work. Mary was back the following day and was completely livid that I had gone around her and talked directly to the owner. Her action towards me would only get worse from here on out. The next day, I came in to notice that my desk was moved and my computer access was taken away yet again. Cue the Malicious Compliance. Since I couldn't do any of my daily tasks and really didn't feel like dealing with a screaming Mary, I was on Reddit for basically the whole day. At the end of the day, Mary came into my new bag storage office and said, "Busy day today? I know mine was." I just smiled and said, "Yep, exhausting." She did not like that response and went to the owner to say that I was purposefully not doing my job and my last 2 weeks would be pointless, so we should just let her, me, go now. The owner disagreed, called me into his office, and after I explained what she had done, he gave me access again and told Mary to work from home. Another day goes by and it's extremely peaceful now that Mary is working remotely, but unfortunately, this does not mean my day is getting any easier. Instead of taking my access away, she had IT start forwarding all my emails to other employees in other departments that had nothing to do with my specific position. At this point, I had only 3 days left, so I just took it as, okay, this sucks for them, but it's on Mary's head if anyone has any questions. I looked at my personal time off and had way more than I thought I had, so why not use those for my last days? And that's exactly what I did. I was originally supposed to let all vendors know and start forwarding them off to the appropriate people and interview second-round candidates for my position, but not anymore. The owner was completely okay with it and understood that Mary was being toxic and that he would have a talk with her about her attitude and position if this continued. Now, with my last 2 days and me being on personal time off, I finally thought I was safe from Mary, but lo and behold, she was still holding a massive grudge, as if my leaving my position was a personal attack on her. She called me at 4:30 in the morning and left me a voicemail saying our company was having an accounting emergency and I needed to come in immediately. I called her back about 4 hours later, which she was fuming about, and went on a massive rant about how I'm extremely entitled, I will never get anywhere with my attitude, and she's embarrassed for our company to say that I ever worked here, that if she ever finds out where I will be working, she will make sure that I'm fired and will never get a job in this town again. I laughed at her and she went ballistic. Like when you take a 4-year-old toys away, screaming so loud her voice was shaking, saying silly things like I have no respect for her or the company and that I will rot in hell. I hung up on her once she started bringing my family into things. I called the owner and explained to him what happened, which he wasn't shocked about and had told me that when she came in that morning, she was going on a rampage like the Tasmanian devil. After finding out why she was freaking out, he promptly fired her. I was shocked since this was such a small company and he definitely needed her. I had heard from another co-worker that she ended up destroying a bunch of company property on her way out and now she's facing a lawsuit due to the damages. I'm so thankful she revealed her true self to everyone and that I'm far, far away from that company and her. Oh wow, that was unhinged. Although it is kind of funny to read about somebody going up in flames like this, especially about something so stupid as one of your dependents going to look for another job. What the hell is wrong with you, Mary? You need to have yourself checked. Anyways, all is good for you, OP, so thank you for sharing and take care. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.